I'm probably one of the most fortunate guys in the world because every weekday that I get up, I get to work alongside 70 amazing professionals in the property appraiser's office. Many times before Pete Tesh gets a hold of them to sell them on the attributes of St. Lucie County and why it would be a great place to grow their business, expand their business, or relocate here, their agent or the business owner has already been to my office. They've either been to the website, which we try to keep as user-friendly as we can, or they've actually interacted with one of our professionals to find out the demographic information and really the bottom and to the right numbers that they're going to need to be able to do business in our county. We're really proud of the fact that our property appraiser's office is on the front line of these businesses who are getting their first impression of what the county is all about. When you look at the human can-do spirit that exists in this county, the intellectual genius that we have here, when you look at all the resources and the infrastructure that we have here, I'll put us up against anybody. And so it's that let's get it done. Let's find a way to put all the resources and work together. And that's one thing I'm most proud about in this county. There's just this can-do, we can get it done kind of spirit that's very infectious here. Besides my wife, who has inspired me since the first time that I ever met her, and is just the most courageous person I've ever met, the one who is outside of the family, it would have to be Dr. Ed Massey with Indian River State College. He's been a phenomenal president. It was a good college whenever he took on the leadership role there, but it has turned into a great institution. Eileen and I are really most proud of our work with the Boys and Girls Club and United Way. I personally have the Paul Harris Fellow from the Rotary International, so obviously that's a coveted award that I truly cherish. Our office in 2014, out of 7,000 property appraiser offices in the world, received the Distinguished Assessment Jurisdiction Award. Now, what that would mean if you were a newspaper, that would be like getting the Pulitzer Prize. And for us, it was getting this distinguished award that showed that we really are the best in the nation at what we do. When these professionals come in, and they could be demographers or representatives, they want to know about the county, they want to know about its characteristics in terms of where the zoning is, where they can grow their crops, or where they can expand their business. We have all that information. It's kind of a one source where you can go and find everything it is that you need to find out. Because there are other counties who can do what we do. They may not do it as good as we do, but we want to make sure that once we have their attention, that what we do is we expand upon that interest that they have. We know at that point in time that we've obviously done our job. What I have strived to do is, it's the old adage that a rising tide lifts all boats. It's about everybody coming together and taking the strengths of many for us to be very strong as a collective community. And that's probably what I'm most proud of, is to be able to get others to coalesce and for us to work together as a community. And my life's viewpoint is that when I leave here, I want to make sure that I left it all on the field of play. And no matter what I did, I did it with every bit of spirit that I had.
As a member of the school board and actually an active advocate within the community, I've had the privilege of sitting at tables that actually helped put an infrastructure in place that leads us to the future. One of those would be the Research Park, where the school district has a section of land that we actually worked with the University of Florida and the county government to create this huge opportunity. Another one would be Harbor Branch Oceanographic, which is now part of FAU. At one point, there was going to be the potential of them becoming a development community, and we knew that we needed to be able to maintain that wonderful asset in our community. A third one might be the fact that I work with transportation and help create the 20-year plan to make sure that the infrastructure is in place to carry what we need for the future for economic development. Well, my leadership style tends to be a lot of walking around. I like to talk to people in hallways and parking lots, and so in the district office, where I go every day, I tend to pop in on people and make sure that they know that they're encouraged and supported to do the best job they can. We have actually retooled all of our high schools over the last several years to meet the Research Coast documents so that we actually have opportunities for our students in many, many academies that didn't exist before. And we've also made sure that we have an alliance and agreement with every single post-secondary and research entity that comes to the county, and sometimes those that are not even in the county, to make sure that our students have the best access. You have to be at a lot of tables to help create a dialogue. It doesn't mean you have to be the only one there, but there has to be someone willing to go to a lot of meetings and sit through a lot of stuff in order to be able to pull a network together. Well, I am currently the chair of the school board. I am also the longstanding chair of our Children's Services Council, which has had a huge impact on children in our community. I'm the president of the board for the Hands Clinic, which is our free clinic. I sit on many, many other committees. They're not desperate. They are actually all working together to create a community that takes us to wonderful places. I've received a Women of the Year award years ago from the Democratic Women because of leadership. Child Advocate of the Year from Boys and Girls Club, the Advocate of the Year for the Healthy Families. So I've received a lot of kudos, and I think that's wonderful. But what that tells me is that the effort that's going in to create a community that understands why everyone is important is actually paying off. When we hire subcontractors or we have to have consultants, as much as possible, we do go local. And we try to give extra points when we do a major project if they actually are local people. We are in a conundrum that we have to make sure we get the best bang for the taxpayers' dollars. We are very conservative with the taxpayers' money, but we also know that when you deal with local people, that money goes right back into the community. So it is a significant multiplier. And besides that, of course, we're training in-house, and hopefully after they get out of school, students to go into the workforce locally. And we would like for them, of course, to not to go away, but to stay here and get your degree. But if you go away, then we want you to come back. But for those many, many students who are not interested in going to college, we need to make sure there are pathways to success. I hope that they would describe me as someone who is very committed to the mission and has spent basically all of my adult life working to better the lives of children and families.
One of the things we focused on when we first moved back was the redevelopment of downtown Fort Pierce. At the solicitation from Tom Kindred, became involved with helping him form the Fort Pierce Main Street program, and we used that to save the old City Hall, to start the effort to save the Sunrise Theater, and also to implement much of the downtown redevelopment that went on. From that, I became involved with the Chamber of Commerce. I headed up a task force called the USDA Task Force, and that was a regional effort to relocate the USDA ARS lab. As the chair of the task force, I was charged with going to Washington to make the pitch for it to be located in Fort Pierce. We were successful, and that was during the Republican administration. Soon thereafter, a Democratic administration came into power with President Bill Clinton, and the selection of Fort Pierce was challenged, so we went through it again and were successful a second time. Judge Alderman was someone who was very inspirational to me about becoming an attorney. When I was in college, there was Professor Jim Warshaw, who was the author of the Greenbelt Law, and then when I went to law school, Jack Freeland, who was head of the tax program. But of all those gentlemen, the one who was most inspirational and had the greatest effect on me was my father. My father was someone high integrity. His word was his bond. He was someone who was very intelligent, but always gave back to the community, always did the right thing. You know, we derive so much from the community, we need to give back to the community. And that starts at the top. You know, you lead by example. I've always been very involved in community activities, you know, whether it was the Chamber of Commerce, Harbor Branch, which I'm currently the chair of the foundation. I've served on the IRSC, Indian River State College Foundation, where we are about ready to celebrate the 20th anniversary of our Take Stock in Children scholarship program. And what we do with that scholarship program is we award scholarships to 8th and 9th graders and encourage them to stay in school, stay out of trouble, graduate with a good average. They don't have to be the top student. And if they do, they will have a 4-year scholarship waiting for them. When I was president of the chamber, after successfully locating the USDA lab here, I received the Martin Luther King Award for creating jobs for our community, which I was very proud of. Also, after serving on the South Florida Water Management District Governing Board, where I served a term in the late 90s, early 2000, I received the Outstanding Soil Conservationist Award. I had the opportunity of meeting with Calvin Arnold and others, and the opportunity of meeting with Research Coalition to identify the various different organizations and institutions we had in our community. Soon thereafter, the first region-wide task force was formed to locate a university in our area. It was chaired by Bud Adams and Bud Jordan, the twin buds as we refer to it, and I had the opportunity to serve on that committee. I'm firmly convinced that because of that, we've had the interest of FAU, we've had the expansion that IRSC has enjoyed, we've had the University of Florida expanding its IFA Center and the educational opportunities, and we've had FSU locate one of their regional medical schools here. You want others to appreciate your integrity, your intelligence, the fact that you are committed and exhibit perseverance to achieve your goals and objectives. I'm not afraid of failure, because if you don't try, you'll never know if you can succeed.